Hello everyone, welcome to the DaniyalZi Show. This is the first episode of many. We're here to interview Canada's entrepreneurs. We're here with a very special guest today, Sashien Godakandae. He is the owner of 360 Entertainment. He's the co-chair of Sri Lankan Young Professional Association, and he's a recipient of Canada's 20 Under 20. He's here to present his book, Nailed It. It's a collaboration of many entrepreneurs, and it's a new way to look at entrepreneurial life in Canada. Alright, Sashien, let's get right to it.
Awesome.
I mean, to have a resume this big, you gotta be hustling. You gotta be hustling for a long time. What were you doing, man? What were you doing as a teenager? What were you doing as a kid? How did this all start off?
Well, it was humble beginnings. I guess a lot of people. For myself, I was a teen actually getting into music. So I was playing in a rock metal band when I was about 16, 17 years old. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know, but that's kind of what inspired me to get into music. So I essentially played in a band. I was the lead guitar and a backup singer. And from there, I was basically booking out shows. We were doing shows with guys in their 20s, 30s. We were just young kids at the time, but we were just really inspired to really do good music and just kind of have fun with it. So
you were doing a band and DJing?
Yeah, exactly. So DJing kind of was the next step of that, but the band phase was kind of what was in at that time. So we essentially were kind of playing for a few years. We won a battle of the bands at one point, and then we started booking our own shows. And I still remember the day when I was about 17 years old, and it was the first time I booked a show, and we had it actually at Mavericks downtown, and it was literally just the most unblowing experience ever because I had the whole place basically sold out. It was about 200 people,
wow.
And the place was literally just roaring.
And that's really hard for music.
Yeah.
People who really getting a show at all is hard enough, and doing the entertainment business, I've done it. I know how hard it is.
It's super hard.
And holy crap, and just selling out a show, 200 people, being there, that must have been pretty mind blowing.
Yeah. So we were just kind of stunned. We got all of our family and friends and just a lot of people that wanted to support us. So it was pretty awesome. I remember the rent was $860 on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how am I gonna do this? So at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go and make this happen.
Just gonna make it
right?
happen.
So I went, and I remember at the end of the night we were charging $10 a head on the tickets, and we had those 200 people, so $2,000. We had the rent at $860. I go upstairs and pay the rent, and we had about 4 bands, and
wow.
Long and behold, you see, all these bands happy because I'm handing them over a few $100s worth of cash. And they were just super shocked. They're like, "Wow, this is amazing."
So that was
we weren't expecting anything.
First big show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the first one I put on, and I was probably just over 17 years old at that time.
Wow, just over 17 years old, 200 people sold out, and
That's
it's just
it.
been rock. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
And what did it evolve from there? How did you turn into this big entertainment company? You did one show. How did you know that this is gonna really work? That I'm going to continue to do this, I'm having fun with this.
Yeah, so I really, I kind of phased out of the whole rock metal scene, and then I got into more of the DJ stuff, because the DJ stuff's kind of been popular the last 5 to 10 years almost.
It really has been. The EDM scene, that's been off. Oh my God. I remember just seeing places like Beach Club and just the big EDM events every year, Scream.
Yeah.
Just blow up in the past 5 years. Now you have completely sold out shows with 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Everything. You have festivals all around the world. You have top 40 and EDM's kind of the big thing now.
Yeah.
Hip hop's still coming back in. So I essentially just went out there about 5 years ago. I picked up the decks. I had buddies doing the DJ thing, and I was like, you know what? I love music. I want to get back into this thing. It'd be pretty awesome to just kind of go and play gigs and just kind of have fun with it. So I just went out there, bought all the equipment, the decks, the speakers, everything, just kind of blew some money. And then literally went into it just thinking I can kind of practice, get really good at the craft, and then start a business out of that. So 5 years ago I got into it, and from there I've kind of done probably over the years hundreds of events.
So is that around the time you got that big Canada's 20 Under 20?
It was actually right after. So I was actually running a marketing company at the time while in school. So I went to Algonquin, and it was about 2009 when I was in Algonquin. And I studied business and I majored in marketing. So I was working on kind of building a marketing concept, doing kind of web, graphic, printing, all that kind of stuff.
Full suite marketing company.
The full suite marketing company. And to this day, I'm thinking maybe it's a pretty good idea, but at the same time, the digital has taken over, and it's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
something we would have adopted at that time. But at the same time, we were just so focused on the traditional stuff because we thought branding would be a really good way to kind of get our entry point in the market, right?
So Sri Lankan Young Professional Association, you seem like you're the co-chair. I mean, how did that happen? How did you get into the community? And what's the story over there?
So I was invited by Pravini Pereira, who's our other co-chair. So myself and her, we lead the organization. We have a really awesome team that kind of puts together all the different programs and the things that we do. And the intention really was to help our community and really give back. We felt that there was just kind of a lack of engagement between young professionals and our parents, basically, right? Because our parents in the community of their kind have very much so been driven through the functions and the things that are going on in the community, and just kind of really focused on doing things for us and for also giving back to our culture, right? So we felt that there was just kind of like that gap, and we wanted to really just place an emphasis to build some good programs, both from like academic, social, and just really kind of build a good program for either students, graduates, young professionals. They can kind of get involved, even the newcomers.
So do you guys do events and like community gatherings, things like that?
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome.
So we're hoping to do kind of annual events, things on a regular basis that we can really help to engage the young professionals.
All right, Sri Lankans, I would implore you to join this incredible organization. It seems like it's a cool place to be, and it seems like you get a lot of connections, which in this world, I mean, like connections are the most important thing you can have.
Definitely.
So we're talking about your print marketing, and you want to do like all this kind of, you want to use print to market your clients and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How did you market yourself? What did you use?
I think for me, honestly, it was a combination of pure hustling. Like we go back to it. A lot
like
of it was.
knock on doors and.
I was like the kind of guy, I guess, through all the stuff that I've kind of worked and built through the years. I was literally just the guy that would just knock on doors and just kind of figure out how do I build a business out, right? So I went there and I just kind of sold myself on everything I did. So for instance, with the music, we had residencies with like Courtyard Restaurant on the market. We worked with TD Canada Trust for their corporate events. And a lot of that was really me just going out there, making the connections and just kind of making it happen.
Just like going and talking to them and just making
That's
it work.
it. 'Cause at the end of the day, you're basically the product and the service at that point.
You are, yeah. Like,
so you're the face of that, and so you go out there and you kind of position yourself as a company that can really do it, make it happen for the client, and
listen, man,
they
like,
trust you.
Like digital marketing has its ways, and it's awesome. Like the amazing things you can do with digital marketing. But honestly, I know like getting the big guns, getting like big clients, you gotta go and talk to them, and you gotta go talk to them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Until they're like, okay, fine, we'll give you a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But, no, I know exactly where you're coming from. Man.
It's at the end of the day, it's like a proposal bidding game.
Exactly.
Just all that kind of stuff.
You become like a walking proposal.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, right?
Or they just want to hire the cheapest guy possible is what happens.
Or they want to hire the cheapest guy possible, but then you can come after that cheapest guy really fails at what he's doing.
And then they realize.
Then they realize.
Sure got the better quality.
I'm sure you must have experienced, like, there was a lot of, like, really big companies that were just using really cheap people.
100%.
And you just couldn't believe it. You're like, like, your marketing budget is like 0.0 times 10 to the power of 6.
Yeah.
That's how much you're spending of your full budget. Are you like, how does that work?
That's the thing.
And but then it's amazing when you convince them. Like you must experience it with all your big clients.
That's it.
When they actually start investing money, they see returns.
Mhm.
Like, holy
Oh, yeah, they see it. They see it and they're like, why didn't I have you like years ago?
Exactly. No, well, like you made this really awesome, successful entertainment company. You're really like you're really the ones who people can see like, holy shit, I want to be like that guy. You know, all those kids, they can be like, I want to be like that guy. Like, what do you say to these kids who really want to be entrepreneurs, who really want to get something done? Like, and a lot of them, they have like a lot of issues stopping them. Like now you have like over here we have a culture in Canada and the States where you gotta go to university equals success, and a lot of people feel trapped. What do you have to say to those guys?
It's a good point. I would say honestly the whole culture behind education and values of, you know, having that background before you get into the workforce and just kind of going through the whole traditional system, I think it's great, but in a lot of cases, I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, they honestly didn't have the right kind of know-how or maybe the skill set to even want to, you know, get involved and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, they wanted really just kind of grind it out and build stuff. And for me, it was exactly that same thing. I wanted to really build things and kind of build my own brand and my own company. And that's what kind of inspired me to get into it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the conventional methods of obviously going to school and kind of getting into the workforce and doing all that kind of good stuff, I mean, it's great, but at the same time, I think that for entrepreneurs, they need to be able to kind of have the right skill set and be able to harness their own strengths through their ambition and their passion. And once they do that, they can be really successful at what they want to do.
Well, a lot of them, they have their parents.
100%.
Right? Parents are like, what are you doing? You're never, like, you've been working on this thing for the past 3 years and you've done nothing's been, you're making $0.
That's it.
But of course, in entrepreneurship, it can take like a decade.
It can take forever.
It can take forever to do anything. I personally think that a lot of the big reason those entrepreneurs aren't getting successful is they don't have their parents' support.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think I think the people around you are always going to be the biggest influence towards your life and what you're doing. And so if you are someone that's kind of involved in different sports or activities, you want to kind of have the right people behind you, the parents, the family in general, the friends, everything behind you, because you want that support and you want to kind
Well,
of...
let's get into it. How was your support? How were your parents when you wanted to get into this entrepreneurship?
Well, it's, I think for both of us, probably we come from backgrounds, typical kind of immigrant families, right?
Yep, the doctor, engineer, options, yes.
So we kind of had the bar set high, and at the same time, we think that, I think our families thought that we need to kind of go through, again, these conventional kind of methods, going to school, getting a good job, you know, having the right kind of steps to be able to be successful, right? And so I think that at the same time, that's great, but I also felt like I wanted to kind of see myself in my own shoes and see where I can go from there.
Well, it limits you, right? Like having two options is this, like in my opinion, that doesn't equal success.
Well, that's it.
It's
right?
just like two options, pick one.
And so I think like the whole validation comes across from the parent side, because they're looking at, how do I kind of make myself feel proud and successful?
Yeah.
You know, through my kids. It's when they go to school, they get the grades, they go get the job that everyone believes that is the job that they should be doing. Whether it's being an engineer, whether it's being a doctor, whether it's being an executive, whatever it could be, right? So I think that, you know, that helps them kind of validate themselves in terms of their own success of raising that kid. But at the same time, I think that once we kind of get into entrepreneurship, there's a lot of success and a lot of things that you can do. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's super hard, right? It's like, we're so lucky, whether we were, like myself, I was born in Canada, coming from, you know, parents that immigrated to Canada many, many years ago. But I think we're so lucky, whether we were born here or we came here many years ago even, we're lucky to be in a country where we have the ability to kind of put together things like this and build products, build businesses. And I think that there's a lot of support through even the government and a lot of places that are out there that are looking for more innovation for the city, the country, or whatever it could be, right?
Well, it amazes me, right? Now we have like so many programs, and I feel like everyone, even from like from the young youth to making startups, to like a 65-year-old man who didn't have the opportunity.
That's it.
To make their startup, to make their company. Now they do.
That's it.
So maybe your parents wanted to make a business and they just sad about it.
Well,
you can tell them to make a business too.
And with all due respect, at the same time, you know, when you come to a country, imagine when you don't know the language and you have to learn the language and raise kids and do all that kind of stuff. So at the same time, we're also very fortunate to be able to live in this country
100%.
and have the resources and the programs around us now. We have so many entrepreneurs doing things. We have groups like Invest Ottawa, and you know, City of Ottawa supports a lot of entrepreneurship and development in the city. So we're lucky to kind of get all these different programs and have the support to be able to do what we need to do.
No, I totally agree with you on that. And like the fact of the matter is, a lot of the times it's just that some people just didn't get the opportunity to, and they just need like a little push up, like, hey, it's possible.
Well, that's it. I think like a lot of people are really, passionate about entrepreneurship and building what they want to do, but at the end of the day, they're just kind of scared. They don't want to take the risk. A lot of people tend to be risk adverse, right? They don't like to really take bets on things. They like to have security, which is fine. But at the same time, they have a passion, but they just don't know how to really build it. And so my goal, kind of as I kind of evolve in the entrepreneurship scene and being kind of in it for so many years, my goal is to kind of help influence other people to build what they want to do. Whether you're a painter, whether you're a musician, there's a way to build a business and build your passion and also make some money doing it at the same time. And why not? Because there's nothing better than doing something that you love, right? And also making some coin and also just kind of celebrating the good things that you're doing. And it's something kind of different,
So I feel like what you're saying is a bit like your book.
That's it.
Right? Is this what it's about?
You gotta wait to read it.
Oh man, let's go to that. This book, like, tell us about it. Like, I know that it's supposed to be like a game changer for how to live an entrepreneurial life.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think. Is it about experiences? Is it? You told me there's a lot of co-authors who are entrepreneurs.
For sure.
Who went through a lot of life experiences. So tell me.
That's it. So I was very fortunate to kind of be brought onto the book, which is called Nailed It, and it's actually, the main author is Alfonso Quadra, who is a very popular entrepreneur here in Ottawa, and he's just kind of like built up so many different things in very like humble beginnings, coming from El Salvador many years ago, and actually was a panhandler on Rito.
Wow.
And from there, kind of built up various businesses from clothing, and then his main passion was real estate. Right?
He was a panhandler.
Yeah. So he.
Wow.
Yeah. So he kind of found a way to get himself out of the grind, and he really wanted to kind of build something up for himself. So I guess he really got into clothing at the time, and then from there it transpired into real estate, and that's kind of his big thing now is real estate and property management. So. Very fortunate to kind of be working with Alfonso. We have another few authors from Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal, and majority of these guys have just been through a lot of good stuff. And I think that like the book is kind of harnessing all of that. We're all kind of through the grind. We've all kind of been there, done that, and we're still always learning at the same time too.
That's awesome. Like, how many authors are there?
There's more than 4 or 5 actually right now. We are kind of finalizing the last couple, so there could be a few more.
Has some of that been done before? Where there's like 5 different entrepreneurs working on a singular goal on this book? Like, that's really cool because then you get these 5 perspectives of entrepreneurial life.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that probably even gives people advice on their regular life, if they're just regular working people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have people with different insight, different kind of backgrounds at the same time, and then they have different levels of experience. So whether it's myself, who's been maybe an entrepreneur for 6, 7, 8 years, or someone like Alfonso, who's been doing it for maybe 20 years,
wow.
You have different levels of experience, and at the same time, we're all kind of in different industries. But we all have these kind of same stories of how we kind of built it up, and how we were kind of strapped for cash at one point, and we had to kind of bootstrap at one point as well. And just kind of like all the levels and layers that it really takes to kind of build up the business, right?
Well, it's so important to realize that entrepreneurship is not all fun and games.
It's not all fun. It's sleepless nights sometimes. It's day in and day out, and just kind of like grinding it every single day.
And not only that, not only that your sleepless nights, but you have to be prepared to not take a vacation for a decade.
That's it.
Like, when you get into the entrepreneurship game, you gotta have that passion.
You have to have the passion. And that's why I tell a lot of people, there's a lot of young people who really want to get into entrepreneurship, but I think that you have to kind of have the right purpose and the passion, right?
Ah, absolutely, man. Like, if you're not liking what you're doing,
that's it.
You might as well go get a regular job where you don't like what you're doing. Or you might as well get a job where you like what you're doing because you're going to have a better time. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurship is not something where you just get into. It's not, you have to really love that game. You have to
love what you do, because at the end of the day, when every single day is hard, or those odd days where you have like the 12, 14 hours.
You gotta like those 14 hours. You gotta enjoy those 14 hours.
Exactly. You get the headaches, you get the pounding in your head, but at the same time you have that ambition.
It gives you like
and
this
passion.
this like psychological high just to be in that game and just working away.
Because every single time I'm just looking at like, what can I do next? What's the next biggest thing? I want to disrupt the industry. I want to, level up to another level of success where I can say, I did this now. So like the ambition is always there, the passion is always there. And what's kind of driving me is to be the best and to really serve a purpose. And that's why when I go back to it, I think you have to kind of really have a problem to solve when you're trying to build a business, whether it's product or it's service. For me, in terms of like the entertainment stuff, I have a business where it's mostly built on passion and skill level, right?
Yes.
And so today we kind of manage so much different talent, whether it's DJs, bands, any kind of musicians. We're out there in Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, and we're expanding the States. We're doing different things, and we're trying to really fulfill venues and what they can do for their entertainment needs and their experiences, right? So the clients and the venues really want to have a good experience for their guests, and that's our job, is to make sure that we have the best talent that can then provide that experience, right?
And that's obviously translated into this incredible book. Nailed it.
That's it.
When is this book coming out?
Stay tuned. We have hopefully a book launch in not only Ottawa but also Toronto and Montreal, and we're hoping to go a little bit more into like areas of Canada and maybe into even the States. So we're looking hopefully early 2018 we should have some updates on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Really, nailed it, guys. Coming out soon. We're going to be putting it on our blog post. We're going to put a link right over here. And there you can follow Sashien. You can look at all this. You can look at his story. You can look at his website, all his other links, social media links if you want to connect with him. And Sashien, this is usual. We want to always end on a kind of an advisory note from our guests.
Yeah.
So if you had one piece of advice you could give to any young entrepreneur right now, what would it be?
I would say when you're starting out, you want to be humble, but you also want to have your ego. And your ego can sometimes play a big factor in how you deal with people and how you're interacting and what you're doing. So you kind of have to have that ego and have that drive, but also be humble enough to kind of say, you know what, I don't know everything, and I may not know everything, but you know what, I'm going to be able to figure it out and learn. And so you have to really absorb everything that's going on from other people and people that are around you, and just kind of take the insight, take the learning, and use that to get to the next place, and to really enjoy what you do and also learn from that experience as well.
Wonderful. All right, there you have it, guys. Humble, have a little bit of ego, and
A lot of passion.
a lot of passion. Be a good person. Thank you, Sashien. It was a pleasure having you. See you guys next time.
Thanks a lot.